love eating with my hands.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. But sometimes I have artificial nails on. And when these bad guys are on here, I don't want things locking in them. I've seen people come to the public space and you're literally eating. Why? Why are you doing that? Eat with your hands. So I'm not saying throw away your custom and your tradition. It's with some. Don't come and do this and then you have the soup dripping all over.
See, but that's the one that is nice. No, the one that the soup is dripping all over is the nice.
Do it inside your house when no one is seeing you.
More Than Jollof. Welcome to More Than Jollof, the African food podcast that celebrates chefs, street food vendors, African food innovators. And today I am so happy. I'm beaming with smiles because I have a personal friend, someone I really look up to, inspires me, and also someone who's done amazing things for the food media industry in Africa, not just Nigeria. I have my friend Winnie.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me here today. As your first guest, I feel so... should I have said that? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. I feel so honored, and I'm just excited to see this dream of yours come to life.
Thank you.
And
I think one of the things that I really want to point out is you've been such a real catalyst to this podcast starting. Like, apart from, you know, my team making sure that everything is okay, once you heard about the idea, like, what do you need? And I really, really appreciate that energy that you brought into getting this started. So,
it's my pleasure.
And you booked the whole flight.
Girl,
that's a big deal.
I had to do this for you.
Thank you so much.
This for you. It's my pleasure.
You know, I introduced you as a trailblazer in food media on the continent. But first of all, I think one of the things that I want to know is, where does the name ZEELICIOUS come from?
Okay, so ZEELICIOUS was actually coined from a very playful state. I was looking for the name of my company. Okay. And then I just thought to myself, okay, I had the zeal, passion for cooking, and then for some amazing reason, everything that I cook always turns out delicious. So,
oh, I never knew that.
That's how the name came.
Oh, wow. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a lot of zeal and you've had it so long as I've known you. And of course, like, you really make amazing food. So it makes sense, like, delicious.
Okay. Jay, you've never eaten my food before, you know, right? I should cook you a meal. So you stop eating from just the screen.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay. So how many years have you been in the industry?
So I started as a food blogger in 2015. Okay. But I went into content creation proper in terms of like video production and all in 2017. Okay. So I'd say officially I started in 2017. Okay. But I've been on and off since 2014. So that's how many years? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
Oh, nice.
Girl! What?
Let's calm down on some of the achievements since 2015. Okay. And so first of all, you started food blogging 2015, right? 2015. And you had a team of what was your production team like in 2015?
So it was just me. I had a 9-to-5, a regular job like everyone else. Okay. And I actually had this passion for cooking since I was 12. But I thought that it was just cooking for my family. I've said this a million times. Okay. I just thought it was just cook for my husband, my children, who enjoy good cooking. Not knowing that God had a totally different plan for me. And as I progressed in life, I started to fall deeper and deeper in love with the culinary arts. And after serving, we have this 1 year NYSC thing during my contract.
Like we call national service.
Oh yeah, we do it in Nigeria. And that was when the passion actually really kicked off because we were mandated to learn a skill in camp. Okay. And at the time, all of my friends were going for makeup, hair, and stuff. I was like, no, I'm not big on all of those things. And it was announced that there was a catering company coming to camp. I was like, okay, I'll join that. And that was how I joined. And the very first day, we made something with yams called yamarita. And I'm like, no, yam piccata. It was yam piccata. I'm like, what the hell is yam piccata? But then the woman did all she did, and it came out so nice. I was like, you know what? I'm going to delve deeper because I've never seen anything done with yams apart from the regular yam porridge and stuff we have in Africa. And then that was how the passion kicked off. But I still had the dream of going to school, coming out and having a regular job, which I did. I eventually got a good paying job in an oil company. Oh, it was a good paying job, but it wasn't a job that I was fulfilled at. Okay. So I'd find that whilst I was at the job, I just never got that joy or passion from the job. And that was when I now started with the food. So what I do is whenever I make something in my kitchen, I'll take a picture. Then I was using the BlackBerry phones,
yes, the BlackBerry phone.
And I will post it on my DP, and then people will be like, oh, what is this? What did you just make? Send us the recipe. So from sending recipe to one people or one person each, my sister was like, okay, why not create your own blog?
Ooh.
So that was how I created Instagram first. Then I started a blog with a simple blog, something online. And from there I started posting my recipes online. Then I would post the pictures on Instagram. Things started picking up. Okay, something is happening here. Yeah. So in 2015 it was just me. But then as we progressed and I realized that this could actually turn into something. And because I was also not passionate about the 9-to-5 job I had anymore, I had to quit. Even when everyone thought I was crazy. But there was something in me that was yelling and calling and wanted it to pay some attention, and I had to pay it attention. And eventually, I gave into it, quit my 9-to-5, and started Zeelicious Foods full-time. And that was why I said I started officially in 2017. Yes. Okay,
so before I go into how you've been able to use the platform to elevate the kind of business you wanted, there's something that you spoke about, fulfillment. And I kind of want to understand, what does fulfillment mean to you in this food space that you find in? What are some of the characteristics that stand out in this industry that you've now found yourself in?
Okay, so for me, when I first started, I didn't just start or stumble on this food career. I had a goal from the very beginning. First of all, I really didn't like the way our African or Nigerian food in quote was presented to the rest of the world. You would go online and then you see someone just trash or say something nonsense about maybe our egusi soup or something. Maybe because a picture was poorly taken, or someone did not just know to plate the food nicely to make it look good before putting out the picture on social media. And so for me, one of my main goals was actually to just change the narrative and let people have respect for African food. That was one of my main goals. And the second main goal was also to show people how to create a repertoire of recipes using the ingredients that were readily available in this part of the world. So I grew up eating the same thing, and it got boring. At some point, I'm like, rice, beans, gari, or yam, and that's it. What else? Can we try something else? And God has blessed us with diverse or an array of ingredients.
Definitely.
And so it was my mission to find those ingredients and put them to good use and to produce different recipes. So for me, fulfillment in that aspect was when I was able to, first of all, showcase our food in a positive light. And that was why, for me, the production quality or production standard, even when I started, wasn't the greatest, but I tried my best to ensure that it was the best I could do at the time, so that I could portray the food in a positive light whilst showing people how to make different recipes. And quickly, a lot of people caught on to it, and that made me really feel fulfilled. So even though I know that I've achieved my goal, and of course a lot of people who have come on the scene now and are showcasing the food in a positive light, I have now moved on to a totally different goal, which is healthy living and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And so the fulfillment I derive from that as well is seeing people say I inspire them with the posts that I make, to go out and exercise, to eat healthier and stuff like that.
You know, it's very interesting that you mentioned about the diversity into healthy food, because one of the things that every time I go on Twitter and I see something about etiquette and I see your video there and they are bashing, I'm like, that's my friend, that's my friend. But let's talk about that. I want to kind of understand what your mindset is like when you do those. First of all, you are into etiquette videos. It's one of your the things that you do. So I think the first question would be, what does etiquette mean to you, like in an African household? And why did you decide to go into that industry? Because the comments and the quotes are crazy.
So first of all, for those who are watching the etiquette video, I have a totally different brand called Winnie's School of Elegance.
Yes.
But I stumbled upon the etiquette thing when I was looking for a fresh perspective to my content. So I had done the whole how to cook this, how to cook that. So I wanted something totally different. So I was like, okay, why not shoot or create an etiquette video for dining etiquette? And we shot that video, and the video did so well. It literally went viral. And I was like, okay, I think this etiquette thing is a thing. So I shot another one, it did so well. Shot a third one, it did so well. I was like, okay, you know what? let's now start creating short form content from the etiquette. And that was how I started the short form content, and be with like to my wildest imagination, like the thing literally started. The very first video I ever filmed was, I think, showing how to eat okra soup in public.
Yes, I remember, with your fork and knife.
I also showed how to eat it with the hand, and it literally went viral. So I was like, okay, people are catching on to this thing. So for me, that etiquette thing was just a way to infuse a little bit of what's it called, like showcase, not necessarily a proper, I wouldn't say the proper way to eat stuff, but just to maintain some form of decorum when it comes to the way we eat in public. Okay. Especially because sometimes when I go to the a public space, and I see how people behave on the dining table, I'm like, where are your manners though? That's the first question that comes to my mind. And some people actually now mistake, maybe because I film most of the content in my kitchen space or in my house, they think that I'm telling them, oh, this is what you must do in your house. I really don't care what you do in your house. Okay. If you want to raise your legs up and do whatever it is you want to do, fine. But when you come to the
it's about coming into the public space.
Can you be respectful and considerate of other people and not make funny sounds with your mouth or your nose and stuff while you're eating? Can you actually respect that I'm there and eat well? Just learn the proper way to eat. So that's how the whole etiquette thing started. And then when I found out that it was actually really booming and everyone was really getting into it, I decided to now create a whole different brand and move it away from Zeelicious Foods, because it was called Zeelicious Etiquette before. Okay. I was like, no, I moved it and I called it, it's now called Winnie's School of Elegance. Okay. We created a whole different channel for it, and we're doing the etiquette thing there.
So my view, sorry, before we continue, my view on etiquette is very two-sided. Okay. First of all, I think that these etiquette rules were brought to us or introduced to us by a certain group of people whose foods can be eaten in that way, like using a fork and knife, or don't do this or don't do that. But we come from Africa, where we've always said that eating together or eating with your hands is communal, and eating with, like, because of the soups and the stews that we have, that it's more comfortable to eat with your hands. Also because of where you would find yourself. Street food wise, if you like Africa and Asia, look at the similarity between us. We're able to use our hands to eat a lot of things. So for me, I just want to ask, like, do you think it's a general etiquette thing, or is it, how important is it for us to attach this etiquette rule to this eating with our hands that we've always known that that has a cultural meaning for us? Is it that important? Okay, so from my own perspective, right, I love eating with my hands. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes I have artificial nails on, and when these bad guys are on here, I don't want things locking in them. So the right thing to do is just find my cutlery and eat with my cutlery. In my personal space, whenever I'm eating my swallow and my soup, I still do it with my cutlery. Some people actually love to eat with their cutlery. So it's not necessarily a thing of, oh, this is what you must do. But then I've seen people come in, like, again, I'm saying it's all about what you do in public. I've seen people come to the public space and you're literally eating. Like, why are you doing that? So even in the video that I posted, I actually showed you a nicer way to eat with your hands. So I'm not saying throw away your custom and your tradition. But can you just do it with some elegance?
Like, so eat with some. Don't come and do this and then you have the soup sprinkling all over.
See, but that's the one that is nice. No, the one that the soup is sprinkling all over is the nice.
You can do it inside your house when no one is seeing you. But do you get my point though?
Yeah.
But I'm totally not against eating with your hands. To be honest with you, I'm someone who respects culture. I'm big on food culture. I'm big on staying true to your food culture. So if eating with your hands is what's important to you, by all means go ahead and do it. But again, it's all about being considerate of other people and eat it with a sense of decency. At least just try your best not to be all with it. That's what just all I'm saying.
Okay.
Does that make sense though?
That makes sense. One of the things that I love about how you've been able to put structure to what you do is that you have such an amazing team who helps you put consistent content out. And also you build a business from what you do. What are some of the challenges that you face as a woman-led food media?
I think that being a woman, first of all, requires you to put double the amount of effort, do double the amount of work. It's not really easy. And one of the biggest challenges that I face as a woman is the fact that you have to bring in a lot of masculine energy.
Okay.
Yes. Especially when you're dealing with operations with guys, for them to take you seriously. Because I think that naturally, men are wired to not see women as, men are naturally wired to, what's the word? Not look up to women in leadership positions. It's supposed to, like, in this part of the world, it's usually like the other way around. So for you to exert of course I'm not trying to bully anyone, oppress anyone, but I still have to have this firmness. And sometimes as a woman who is just thriving in her feminine energy, I don't want to be all feisty but sometimes you have to be feisty for them to listen to you and know that you actually mean serious business. That's one of the challenges that I face as a woman, and that eats into my femininity. I really don't like it, but I have to do it. Second one is, to be quite honest, I don't know if I should be saying this here, but I'll say it. Another biggest challenge that I face is finding competent hands that are reliable. People who understand professionalism, who understand putting their best foot forward in delivering excellence. We don't have a lot of those kind of people in this part of the world. And so with my team members, I always say to them, actually some of the best people that I work with. And one of the challenges that I face, I won't call it a challenge. For me, I think it's my way of paying it forward and giving back. I usually put in a lot of effort and work into training them, training their minds, training the way they reason and understand things. And I put them through a process of also training them in excellence. And that's the reason why you see a video, you guys think, oh, Winifred must work with the best team. Well, of course I work with the best team, no doubt, but a lot of work goes in on my own part on, oh no, this is why we must do this way, so that it translates into this. And people are like, oh wow, how are you guys able to do it? So just putting a lot of effort into the work, because you are, it's really difficult to find people who understand journalism, producing excellence in this level.
So one of your favorite traits that I like about you is your consistency. And I'd want to know, what is that thing that keeps you on your toes, that has made you so consistent for so many years that I've known you when it comes to, food content, your etiquette training, and also working with a team strength of about 9 people?
So the very first thing that keeps me going is, of course, I have a strong purpose. Okay. I have a strong reason why. And my strong reason why is not from a superficial standpoint. It's from a place of like someone who has value to offer. And I know that there are people out there who require my value. Yes. And I know that if I'm not sharing this value, someone somewhere might be making a mistake or doing something wrong. And just because I'm bold enough to lend my voice, they know the right thing to do. Yeah. I'm not saying that I know it all, but I know that I have value to offer. And so because I know that I have value, and I know that this value I have is a gift that's been given to me to share with the rest of the world, I refuse to be quiet about it. Nice. And that's one of the things that actually really push me to just show up even when I don't feel like it, especially when I don't feel like it. Secondly, of course, I enjoy what I do. It gives me so much joy to know that I am also valuable to society, putting my best foot forward, making my life have meaning, or this is fulfillment that comes to you when you know you've birthed something. It's like you birthing a child and you have to take care of that child and nurture him or her. And even when your child is old or elderly, you still love that child, you still want that child to be, and that's actually how I see what I do. And then of course, when something becomes profitable, when something generates funds for you, not even just me personally, I have a team that work with me. Those people are working with me, and one of their sources of livelihood is from what we do. I know a lot of people that I take care of personally, just simply from the profit or the revenue that we make from what we do. And because of that, I know I can't sleep. If it's about me and me alone, I'll go to bed because there are other ways that I can easily make money without stressing. But when I think about these people, when I know that someone's salary depends on what we do, I get on my feet and I go do the damn thing.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. I really love that about you. And I've always told you behind closed doors how I think your consistency is really inspiring. And one of the conversations I have with you all the time, even about me, is the work that I do. You can't just up and leave, because you have people that you employ and people who rely on you. Well. So, I mean, we kind of relate on that level. Accolades. Now, you won awards and, but first of all, the very recent one is you hitting 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yes.
Like, that is not a joke.
That has been
I've been on YouTube forever. I'm still at the same place. So hitting 1 million is crazy. I know that you've received your plaque for it.
No, I haven't received the plaque.
Oh, you haven't received that one
yet? I have applied for it.
So how many plaques do you have right now?
I have the one for the 100,000.
Okay.
The 1 million I have applied for, but they haven't sent
You have the
it
500,000.
No, there's no 500,000.
There's no 500.
There's 100, there's 1 million, and there's 10 million.
Jesus.
Yes.
Okay, and then you also met the president of YouTube.
Yeah, that's the CEO.
Yes, the CEO.
Susan, her name is Susan, yes. I think her name is Susan,
I mean, that must be crazy. It's like you're in your home trying to do something. All of a sudden,
I just received
you flown to Paris.
Come to Paris, girl. The CEO of YouTube is looking for you. I'm like, okay, say no more. I'm packing my bags and I'm heading to Paris.
What was that conversation like?
So the conversation was just to see how the YouTube platform in general has helped with our work and how YouTube can also be helpful on what more they can do with the features on the YouTube platform. And it was really incredible too. I was actually the only Black person in that conversation. And what stood out for me in that conversation was the CEO, Susan, she was very interested in YouTube in the African community and the African space, and she really took into consideration, or rather, I mean, from her attitude towards my suggestions and answers, you could tell that she really took into consideration what I said, and they have actually gone ahead to implement some of the things that I talked about at that meeting.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was one of the highlights of my career. Who would have thought that this girl with zero experience, no money, nothing, no connections, just a few years after doing YouTube, we were meeting the CEO of YouTube. That's not a small deal, guys.
Yeah.
I want my flowers.
And there's so much that, so much flowers that we can give you and so much accolades.
Thank you.
And we have a new crop of content creators, food content creators. So, it's spanning from restaurant reviews to street food reviews to creating content to a butchie mix, a group of chefs blending everything. It's all great.
Can I have sunglasses? Shade.
But
shade. That was shady.
Shady. It's a good shade.
Very good one.
But for me, I think I would want to know what your advice would be for a different group, like a new group of people who are interested in food and, who may not really understand what food is to us as a culture, but maybe just because they have a phone or really also because they have interest in food. What are some of the keynote advice that you can give to this new generation of food enthusiasts, chefs, caterers, food media people?
So first of all, right, I would say this. It's important to be sure that you are actually a food enthusiast and it's something you're passionate about. Don't just jump on the bandwagon because everyone is doing it and you think it's easy, because there's nothing easy about it, right? And when you've now ascertained that you're actually sure that this is the path you want to toe, then it's important for you. I know you've heard it a million times, be authentically you and all of that good stuff, but you need to find out what is lacking in the industry, because we have a lot of people already here. So for example, there's a lot of how-tos, how to cook jollof rice. You can't come and start showing me how to cook jollof rice. I already have 1,010,000 videos online, but there are lots of things that are lacking. So for example, I'm now into the healthy living and healthy eating community, and from my experience, there's lots of people lacking in that field, lacking in nutrition, researchers, people who are talking about the healthy way of eating the foods that we have in this part of the world. that market it's very, very open for anyone who really wants to thrive in the food business. Just go get a nutrition certificate, and you're good to go. So find where the demand is and then channel your enthusiasm into that place. Don't just pick up your phone and camera and do what Winifred is doing. No. Winifred has a purpose for doing what she's doing. You find your purpose and then key into it, because that purpose is what is going to help you stay strong even when things aren't working the way that you expected them or expect them to work out. So that's my only advice for anyone. And then keep at it, because life will throw you challenges, but you have to keep at it and be patient. That's why I started by saying you must be sure that you are actually a real food enthusiast and not just someone who just wants to jump on the bandwagon because people are succeeding in it. Yeah.
Oh, that was... I don't want this to stop.
Me too.
But it's fine. You're coming back for season 2, so I'm more than happy. It was a real pleasure having you here. I really appreciate how far you've come in your profession. I appreciate you as a friend as well. I'm really grateful that
you know that I love you.
I'm really grateful that you're here. You come to Ghana. I wish that you continue coming to Ghana and stay. All right, guys, thank you very much. This has been an amazing episode of More Than Jollof, the podcast. We hope that you've learned so much from Winnie, who has achieved so much in her time in food media content creation as well. If you want to listen to this episode on any of the sound platforms, please find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere there's sound will be there. Find us on YouTube as well. You'll find the link in this video, and support us, like, subscribe, and let us know what you think about the episode, and recommend someone if you know any amazing food person in this space who is thriving and pushing African food content, African ingredients, and African culture. Would love to speak to the person. So see you on the next episode. It's been me, Jay, aka Wukasi Chicks, on More Than Jollof,